Happy holidays from Top to Bottom Podcast, where we celebrate all things male romance. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Marky.
And this is our December Bottom episode. Because it's the holidays, we are going to have a shorter episode. Just there's a lot going on, but we do have some things we want to talk about.
Yeah, along with a couple extra reads that we got done this month, we are also going to be discussing our bottom pick, which was Desperately Seeking Santa by Eli Easton. So, starting it off, one book that came out just a couple days ago was a surprise by an author who we adore and never shut up about, the fabulous Jex Lane. She came out with Stone Sentinel, which is basically Beautiful Monsters 3.5, and it's a novella, so it takes place right after the events of Broken, which is her last book. And it is about Sam and Jet basically saving Christmas from Krampus, and they somehow are able to bamboozle Tarek into going along with them. So it is a fantastic read. I think you just started it, so...
Yeah, and I am absolutely adoring it being in Jet's point of view. For anybody who isn't familiar with the Beautiful Monster series, Jet is a gargoyle. So if you should go back and read Beautiful Monsters if you haven't, because it's great.
Of course.
But if you have, Jet, is an awesome character, but we've never been able to see from his point of view before. So he's great. I love him, and I'm really, I just started it and adoring it already. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I ended up finishing it and during, and just devoured the entire thing and laughed so much. I adore Sam. Every time she shows up, she's wonderful anyway, but seeing her being able to be this mischievous and ridiculous and really kind of coming into her own is a lot of fun. And then Jet, of course, is in love with her, so he does whatever she wants, and it's good stuff. So, yeah, if you're a fan of the series, definitely worth picking up if you haven't. I imagine anybody who's been following her has already devoured this book, so if you have, you can comment and talk to us about it, because we will absolutely fangirl with you. The other book that I wanted to bring up, kind of fitting with the Christmassy holiday theme, I was able to actually get to Vampire Claws, which we talked about in our top episode as one of the books on the list that seemed interesting, and that's by Robert Winter. And Vampire Claws is about Taviano, who is a ancient Italian vampire who goes from town to town every night, basically seeking his victims and being a lonely lost soul, very classic Rice style, battling inner demons kind of thing, when he stumbles across Paul, who is taking toys to the LGBTQ shelter to give to the kids for Christmas, and he almost gets jumped by a bunch of jerks, and Taviano jumps in and saves him. And it's a really good, fun story. Paul is ridiculous. It's a really good contrast, because Taviano is very much the brooding, sad vampire, and Paul is this ray of sunshine who refuses to be a bummer. So he basically forces Taviano to see things in a positive light, and it's good stuff. It was one of those things, as soon as Paul starts awkwardly flirting with him at the beginning, I was immediately in love with it and finished it, and I couldn't stop smiling throughout. So it's a good holiday read for somebody who's looking for maybe another one to weasel in before the end of December. And then the last one that I ended up reading this month, kind of on a whim, is not holiday themed at all, but it was so good I wanted to bring up, was Saving Sebastian by Luna David. And it is a BDSM Dom sub type book, and it's definitely got some darker themes as far as dealing with PTSD and self-esteem issues and physical issues that people have to get over, but it also has some cool action scenes, because Gideon, who's the Dom to Sebastian's sub, is ex-Navy SEALs, Black Ops kind of guy, so he's got cool scenes where he's going in and having to basically torture people for information, and it's kind of cool. So watching the power play between Dom and sub is starting to be really fascinating to me in a fantasy setting, MM romance kind of stuff. So it's probably something I will try to read a little bit more of. It was a really good foray into the genre, because I haven't really been able to, I'm baby stepping in, and this one's further in than I've gone so far. So, giggity.
Also, when you said foray, I thought you said four-way, and I was well, I'm into that too.
Yeah, you're you didn't mention that at the beginning. That would also be lovely. But yeah, that's what I was able to read this month.
Yes, while this is my first holiday in 20 years not in retail, I still work in e-commerce, so I have been incredibly busy and have only had time to read our bottom pick and start in on Stone Sentinel, but I did read those.
I'm in a rare position to where I have downtime, to where if I am able to read at work, I just inhale books rapid fire. So I'll go through long stretches where I can't, where I'm usually training somebody, and then when they give me just a sliver, I just eat books. So, but I'm aware that that's not the norm at all, and I think that's the only reason I'm able to read as much as I can is because of that.
A lot of times throughout the year, I mean, I'll usually read, 2 to 4 books a month when it's normal stuff going on, and I can devour them pretty quickly. It's just been lately, now that I have a billion things that I want to read, there's just no time in the world for me, but I've been at least able to keep up with the book picks, and hopefully I'll dive into that, but we'll talk about that more next month. We have some plans to talk about our plans for reading next year.
Indeed. So, what did you think of Desperately Seeking Santa?
Oh, I thought it was really cute.
It was really cute.
It was definitely kind of that heartwarming, cozy kind of love story for the holidays. It was, it had its cute Santa mystery angle. I almost kind of wish that I didn't know going into it, because in the blurb, that the Santa is Mac.
Yeah.
You know this from the blurb, and I kind of wished I hadn't known that, because that reveal could have been really awesome to, just fall into that as I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
But it was super cute. I loved the characters. They were a lot of fun. Just kind of listening to Gabe try to get through getting over himself, more or less.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was really cute. I really liked the Christmassy theme. I liked the side characters were all really good. I liked Jordan and Owen. I liked Mac's dad and George, and Sasha and Josh from the children's home. Just everybody was it was a very, very likable book.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. It was really cute. Going back to the thread that we started on Facebook about it, Will from Jeff and Will's Big Gay Podcast said that it's probably one of the favorite ones he's read this season, and then Mac has moved to the top of his book boyfriends list because he's such a sweet, gentle giant.
And he hated that phrase, gentle giant.
Yeah, right?
Shame on you, Will. He doesn't like that.
Katie had also mentioned on our thread that she really liked it, and she's a big fan of Eli Easton to begin with, and that you can never go wrong with picking up Christmas books by Eli Easton, which I agree. It was my first time reading Eli, and it was a lot of fun, really well written. The sex scene was fantastic.
Yes.
It was really good. A
lot of build up to it, which is good.
Yeah, I like, it's hard to do slow burn in a novella setting because it's short, so
right.
You're kind of trying to crunch it in there, but the build-up was really well paced. Building up the rapport between the two characters was really good, especially because, like you had mentioned, it started pretty rough between the two, because Gabe has a hard time not putting his foot in his mouth.
Yes.
And he does that immediately. First meeting, it's just boop, there it goes. So, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did, and happily ever after endings are my favorite. But yeah, I really liked it. I will say one of the highlights when the wrestlers all showed up to the dinner as Santa's elves and everything, imagining all these big burly men dressed as elves and the biggest of them being Santa, that's great.
Yeah, I kept expecting something else to get screwed up, when they were kissing in the parking lot afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, so the news people are going to see it, it's going to screw everything up. I was just waiting for something else Gabe can't catch a break, and I wasn't expecting him to.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely fun if you haven't had a chance to pick it up. I mean, we just spoiled a bunch of shit for you, so I apologize if you haven't read it.
Whoa, that's true. We should have said before that it's the bottom episode, guys. So we're going to talk spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning.
Fine.
Moving on.
I think that was everything that we wanted to talk about.
So I think that about wraps up our December bottom episode. We do have a couple of announcements we'd like to make. We had our December contest giveaway winner, Jordan H., who won a copy of Desperately Seeking Santa from Eli Easton. And for next month, we're really excited to announce that we have an interview with Ella Frank.
Yeah, Ella's going to be jumping on the show talking about the newest release in her Temptation series, True, which actually came out early. It was originally slated to come out January 2nd, but it was bumped up to December 21st, so it's out now. Definitely worth going and picking up. So she's going to be on the show talking about the series and the characters, Logan and Tate, and just about writing craft in general. So we had a really great time talking with her. So thanks again for being on our show, Ella. So definitely join us next time, and until then, happy holidays and happy new year. Make sure to stay safe.
And call a cab on New Year's Eve.
And bring extra condoms.
And eat that cake because you're wonderful and you deserve it.
You deserve that cake.
Yes.
Have cake. Have your cake and eat it too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.